Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am going to be filming the first part of this video a little early because I don't feel like waiting. So if you're back from last month's video, this is going to be my TBR for March based on two factors. The first factor being books that are the oldest on my Goodreads TBR. I don't use Goodreads anymore. I have had Goodreads since 2013, 2014, so there are a lot of old books on there that I still kind of have lingering. And then the second factor that we're going to look at is the most recent books that I purchased. I'll do 5 and 5. Let's start with the oldest books on my TBR. I mentioned that I had Goodreads all the way back to like 2013, 2014, but I had already done like a huge purge of books that I had added on there back then. So the list kind of picks up again after what I did last month in 2020 and 2021. So the very oldest book that I have not read on my TBR is the Dune graphic novel, book 1 specifically. It is this. So Jose got me this as a gift back in December of 2020. So I think it was like an early birthday present. I tried reading it before and it's just very wordy and dense because that is what Dune is. I think this should be a really easy win, really easy thing to read. I did also check and I believe there's a digital version on Hoopla in case I don't want to hold a book, you know. The second oldest is from 2021. This is Sorrowland by River Solomon. I got this like several months ago. Like it feels way too recent. I probably did because like I mentioned, these are books added to my TBR, the oldest. So I might have bought this in the last year or two, but it's been on my list for a while. Vern, 7 months pregnant and desperate to escape the strict religious compound where she was raised, flees for the shelter of the woods. There she gives birth to twins and plans to raise them far from the influence of the outside world. But even in the forest, Vern is a hunted woman. Forced to fight back against the community that refuses to let her go, she unleashes incredible brutality far beyond what a person should be capable of, her body racked by inexplicable and uncanny changes. To understand her metamorphosis and to protect her small family, Vern has to face the past and, more troublingly, the future outside the woods. Finding the truth will mean uncovering not only the secrets of the compound she fled, but also the violent history of America that produced it. After that is Tentacle by Rita Indiana, and I have this on my Kindle. I believe this is a book that I was going to read with Sage several years ago. And I think we both kind of ended up DNFing it, or maybe just I did. I think the beginning of it was a little intense for me and there was a lot of like, I think homophobia or something going on. But it says, plucked from her life on the streets of post-apocalyptic Santo Domingo, young maid Isilda Figuera finds herself at the heart of a voodoo prophecy. Only she can travel back in time and save the ocean and humanity from disaster. But first she must become the man she always was with the help of a sacred anemone. And it's less than 200 pages. It's a very quick book. So I have this on my Kindle and should be able to read it relatively quickly. That one I added to my list in June 2021, which I'm pretty sure is shortly after I purchased it. Next is Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin, which I always forget, but this author is actually Massachusetts, like from Massachusetts. And so local author. I believe they're also trans. Beth and Fran spend their days traveling the ravaged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in a gruesome effort to ensure they'll never face the same fate. Robbie lives by his gun and one hard-learned motto: other people aren't safe. After a brutal accident entwines the three of them, this found family of survivors must navigate murderous turfs, a sociopathic billionaire bunker brat, and awkward relationship dynamics, all while outrunning packs of feral men and their own demons. Very excited for this. I believe one of the directors or one of the writers from The Matrix is actually adapting this into either a movie or a show, and I've never been more excited for something. I think I tried to read this too a few years ago, but I was reading it like at a dealership and my brain was off. Like I think I was just a little concerned about the bill that was going to be there and I just never picked it up again. And this one I bought in June of 2021 as well. Another book from June 2021 is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. That's this big old one here. It's one of these like I think it's like a UK paperback size. In a boarded up house on a dead-end street at the edge of the wild Washington woods lives a family of 3. A young girl who isn't allowed outside, not after last time. A man who drinks alone in front of his TV, trying to ignore the gaps in his memory. And a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible. An unspeakable secret binds them together, but when a new neighbor moves in next door, what is buried out among the birch trees may come back to haunt them all. It's an immersive and shocking journey that will keep you guessing until the last page. We will see how this goes. I think it's a little bit haunted house and just creepy vibes in general. And yeah, so that is the last of the 5 oldest books on my TBR. Now on to the 5 most recent books that I bought, all of which I bought like less than 7 days ago from when I'm filming this. So first one is Blob, A Love Story. This is by Maggie Sue and it's a newer release. A humorous and deeply moving debut novel in the vein of Bunny and Convenience Store Woman about a young woman who tries to shape a sentient blob into her perfect boyfriend. It does seem kind of up that weird alley that I think is really interesting to me, so I think this would be potentially a 5-star. And next one was Softcore, and this is by Brittany Newell, and I just love this cover so much. A young woman's search for her missing ex-boyfriend takes her into the sexual underground in Brittany Newell's savage, tender, softcore. Our main character becomes a stripper, I believe, in order to make ends meet because her ex-boyfriend who she was living with disappears, and then weird things start happening. She starts getting into this like BDSM underground scene and is trying to figure out what happened to her ex. I also picked up The Black Fantastic, which is edited by Andre M. Carrington. It's a story collection about Afrofuturistic stories. Well, we can go to the next one that's actually on here because there's a short story in here by this author, but I also got Chain Gang All Stars. We have the prison industrial complex, and there are prisoners that are basically fighting for shorter sentences, I believe. They're fighting for their freedom against other prisoners, and I believe it's televised, so it's just super fucked up. And I think there's a few movies that I've seen that are very similar. And then the very last one is going to be Carmilla. This is by Sheridan Le Fanu, and I believe it's actually Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. This is a dark sapphic romance that inspired Dracula, which I also own. Just for the sake of this being a TBR, I'm also going to read this because it's relatively new on my TBR. Supposedly Carmilla came out before Dracula and it's supposed to inspire it. The size difference between these two books is my biggest concern. But yeah, we're going to try. We're going to try that this month. Those are the 10 books that are oldest and newest to the list. I think that I have a lot ahead of me because there's only one graphic novel here, but some of them are short. That's great. I'm going to also give you my full wrap up of the month and see if there's any rollovers from the books that I picked last month. Angel from the Present. Technically that was Angel from the Past. It doesn't matter. I only had one book actually roll over from February into our March TBR, and that is Everyone Who Is Gone Is Here, The United States, Central America, and Making of a Crisis by Jonathan Blitzer. This is a nonfiction book, and I think the title kind of explains it all. But I didn't read this because I'm waiting for the ebook to come in at the library. I think it's like a 10-week wait. So we're going to be really patient together for the majority of, I'm number 28, and there's 30 people. Jeez, I've been waiting really patiently for the ebook. I'm probably gonna start to read a little bit of it though, just because I am very interested. I think it's very timely. I feel like it's timely all the time. But that is the only rollover. I was pretty successful. I was able to finish a few books since I filmed that last clip, so I feel much more accomplished. And I hope that I have even less rollovers next month, at the end of this month. So that is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching and sticking along. Hopefully so far you're enjoying this TBR challenge. I've only done it for a month so far, but I feel like if you already watched my wrap up, you'll know that February went pretty well. Yeah. So yeah, if you have any recommendations though, I'm not going to stop buying books, so we can continue to add to the list. And I'm going to also read, if it's not clear, I'm also going to read other things in between. Like if I don't feel like reading one of these books, I will just read another book, and then we'll come back to it. So the rules are only made by me. And the fact that I did it once is super exciting. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.